Well, hello, Desert Ridge Academy 6th graders. Today's lesson is going to be on the measures of variation. Hopefully you were able to take a moment to copy down all the notes so you can focus in on the actual steps. There are going to be quite a few steps for this, but it's actually super easy, and you already know how to do it if you've done the lesson for finding the median and the mode, mainly the median here. So if you've done that lesson, those skills are what we're going to use to help us find our measures of variation. So to start, our essential question is, how do you find the IQR of a data set, and how do you know if your data set has an outlier? So those are two questions you're going to want to be able to answer by the end of this lesson. All right, to start, let's just go over some of the vocabulary, what we're going to be working with. When we're talking about measures of variation, you already know that they are used to describe the distribution. So mainly we're talking about how far, so the spread of your data point. So the distance between one point and another point. We know that range is the difference, which we find range by subtracting, the difference between the greatest and the least value. And now our new learning is going to revolve around quartiles. Let me get some papers out of the way. It's going to revolve around quartiles. So when you're thinking of quartiles, basically, I'm just going to take this piece of paper just to model it for you. We have our numbers. You can think of it, we just have a set of numbers. And basically, you're going to be splitting those numbers into groups, into 4 groups. And a lot of times when we're splitting like this bar graph into groups, we'd go like split it in half. And that would be like when we find our median. We're going to split our data in half. We're going to have a bottom half and a top half. And then we can take the bottom half, split that in half. And in our work, that's going to translate to quartile 1. And then we take the top half, we're going to split it in half. That will translate to quartile 3. And then you can see you'll end up with 4 sections, so 4 areas where your data all fits into. So that's what we're looking for. Okay, all right. Now, the third quartile is the median of the upper half of the data, and the first quartile is the median of the lower half. So I just modeled for you basically what we're doing. Now our IQR is known as the interquartile range, and that's going to be the difference. So again, you're going to be subtracting here, the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. And then our all-important outlier. The outlier we're going to do at the end, and our goal is to see if there is a value that is much greater or much smaller than our median. And the way we're going to tell if there is a value is we're going to be multiplying by 1.5 and then comparing those answers. All right, it's a lot of steps, but if we take them one by one, it's going to be easy to do. So, turning to my next page. Setting it up, here we go. So for examples A, B, and C, we're going to find the range, the median, the first and third quartile, and the IQR. And then we're going to go about finding if there is an outlier. All right. To make my data as neat as possible, I know I'm going to find the range. So I'm just going to identify the area where I'm going to write that answer. I'm going to find the median. Again, we know median means middle number. We're going to find quartile 1, quartile 3, and then ultimately our IQR. So our interquartile range. After we find all of those, then we'll go back and find the outlier. All right, range is easy. For our first set, we have a number of votes received for student government. So our set includes 13, 20, 18, 12, 21, 2, 18, 17, 15, 10, and 14. All right, so each of these are different candidates. We have the number of votes they received. We are going to organize this information. All right, to start, we know range is simply a subtraction problem. We take our largest number. So looking through our set, what would be the largest number? I see 21. and we're going to subtract from it our smallest number. Smallest number would be 2. So range is just a subtraction problem. Largest number minus the smallest number. I'm going to pause for you to do that. And we get 19. So indeed our range for this information, this set of data, is 19. Now to our median. We know median requires us to order our numbers from least to greatest so we can find the middle number. So we're going to start by doing that. Smallest number I know is 2. And my largest number was 21. So I know I'm going to go from 2 to 21. Hopefully my spacing is good. So I'm going to find the next smallest number, which would be 10, followed by 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. Then I have 2 18s. And finally a 20. So let me count them up, make sure I didn't lose any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 there. So I want to make sure I have all 11 on my paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all 11 are there. All right, to start. Excellent. And now we know that they're listed in order from least to greatest. Now we just go about marking it off to find the middle number. So small, big, small, big, small, big, small, big, small, big, and look at that. Smack dab in the middle is 15. So my median is 15. That you know how to do. The next part you basically know how to do as well. This 15 has broken up our information, so cut it in half. Here's the bottom half of our numbers, and here would be the top half of our numbers. And then to find quartile 1, we do the same thing. We want to find what's the middle number. So let's start. Here's my bottom half. Small, big, and in the middle would be 12. So that is quartile 1 is at 12. So the end of quartile 1, the end of the first quarter of our data would be at 12. And then we do the same thing for quartile 3, but only with the top half. So small, big, looking for that middle number, in this case 18, and we have it. Now from here, to find our interquartile range, it is a subtraction problem. We're going to take quartile 3 and subtract the number we got for quartile 1. So for quartile 3, I have 18. For quartile 1, I have 12. 18 minus 12 is 6. There's my IQR. It's that simple. All right. From there, all that's left is to see if we have an outlier. But I'm going to come back to that in the next part. So right now, let's just worry about finding range, median, quartile 1, quartile 3, and our IQR. We'll come back to the outlier. All right. So now we have example B. Example B says miles driven to see a space shuttle launch. So these are a list of the different miles that people drove to see this new space shuttle launch. We have 19, 27, 14, 28, 30, 51, and 28. To start, pause the video and see if you can find the range and the median. That I know you can do. And pause it now. All right, hopefully you found the range and the median. I'm going to put this up so we can just be organized. So I have my range. I'm going to look for also the median. We know we're going to find quartile 1, quartile 3, and then our IQR, our interquartile range. All right. For range, we know we find the largest number. In this case, it's 51. We subtract the smallest number, which was 14. Hopefully that's what you got. And the range would be 37. Excellent. Next, median. To do median, we know we have to order our numbers from least to greatest. So hopefully you did that and you found your median. So I'm going to do it now. We have 14. Next was 19, followed by 27. Then I had 28, 28 again, 30, and 51. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 numbers there. 7 numbers there. All right. Hopefully you ordered them correctly. And then to find the middle number, again, we mark off small, big, small, big, small, big. Looking for that number in the middle. Our median is 28. How'd you do on that one? Hopefully good. All right, from here, that median has broken it up. We have our bottom half. We have our top half. All right, from here, we're going to find quartile 1, which means the middle of the bottom portion of our data. So, looking at my numbers, small, big, left in the middle is 19. So quartile 1 is at 19. And then looking at the top half, doing the same thing, small, big, looking for what's in the middle. The end of quartile 3 would be at 30. And now we find our IQR. So that's quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So we're looking for the range between where the first quartile ends and the third quartile ends. So basically that would be where half of our information for this data would fall, in between these two spots. So we have 30 for quartile 3 and 19 for quartile 1, bringing us to a range of 11. Yup. All right. We're going to do example C, and then again, part 2 will be how do we find the outliers, if there are outliers. All right, so for part C, we have data coming in the form of the temperatures for the city of Tampa. So this would have been over a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 day span. All right, let's see if you can find, so here's a good opportunity to try. So you can pause the video. You're gonna find the range. I know you can find the median. And then try and find quartile 1, quartile 3, and the IQR. And then come back to the video and let's see how you did. So go ahead and try it. All right, hopefully you feel good about this, but if not, don't worry. It's just little steps and we're going to, by the end, know how to do it on our own. All right, so range, that is our largest number. We're going to subtract the smallest number from it. So my largest number here was 95. And my smallest number was 65. So I do that difference. I find that difference. It's 30. So my range between my smallest and the largest number would have been 30. Now to the median. Median, we know that means I have to order my numbers from least to greatest. So my smallest number is 65. My largest number was 95, so I'm finding all the ones in between. After 65, I have 88, 88 again, followed by 89. And no need to go fast. Go ahead and take your time with ordering it because you want to be correct. So take your time. 91, 91, then I have 92, 93, and 95. And that was 1, 2, 9. 9. Excellent. I don't want to leave one off because then I would get the wrong answer. All right. So we have them ordered. Now we just mark them off. So small, big, small, big, small, big, small, big, and smack dab in the middle is 91. That's our median. So that 91 broke it up into 2 sections, our bottom half of the data, and then our top half of the data. Excellent. And now we're going to go about finding their median, so quartile 1. All right, small, big, and I don't have an odd one. I have 2 in the middle. And we know how to do this. When there's 2 in the middle and you're finding the median, you would add them up. 88 plus 88 would give you 176, and then you divide by 2. But as we can see, it's really just going to get us back to 88. Lucky us. And then we do the same thing for the top half. Small, big, and it looks like we have 2. Yep, 2 left in the middle here. So we would add those together. 92 plus 93. That would bring us to 185. Divide that by 2. Or you can just say in your head, what number is halfway between 92 and 93? And you know that would be 92.5. So 92 and 2 and 5/10. So there you go. We have quartile 1 and quartile 3. Now looking for our IQR. So we know that's a subtraction problem. Quartile 3, so it would be 92.5 minus our 88. And when I'm subtracting, of course, you make sure you line up those decimals. Drop the decimal down in the answer. We get 5. And this, after we regroup, would become a 4. So our interquartile range, our IQR, would be 4.5. So 4 and 5/10. 4 and 5/10. All right, that's part 1. We'll keep the practice up.